Welcome back to our review of Ocean Protocol. This is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, what are you doing? There's a link below in the description. You gotta start at the basics, man. Let's get to it. Now we can see that both of these issues, autonomous vehicles and personal data laws, they each represent a unique set of problems that, while both being related to big data and solvable via AI, they entail fundamentally different procedures as to what data is obfuscated for who and when and for what reason. Autonomous vehicle creators, for example, they may want to share the 3D modeling data so they can better map roadways faster, speeding along production of their products. After all, I went ahead and ran some fun math for you all. It would take roughly 100 autonomous vehicles driving 24/7, 95 years to drive the low end of 500 billion miles. So it's really important they pull this data. Now, they probably don't care if other companies know that they're a company that is participating in this process. That's fine. They probably don't, however, want to share specific data about individual autonomous vehicles, as that could give their competitors an edge over their business. Okay, let's pivot to our medical data and look at some of the problems therein. Medical data, it's extremely important to obfuscate the identity of each individual patient. That way you ensure their privacy. This is decidedly different from the automotive example for a number of reasons. Well, one, medical data is individual, not corporate. That means it has important implications for each person and could even be used against someone. Unlike our automotive example, we not only are not interested in the individual or entity that's participating, but it's critical that we can't even find that information out. We shouldn't be able to. We're only interested in the aggregated data about Parkinson's disease in relation to certain populations, which we can't get our hands on if the user privacy can't be assured. So now you may be able to see some of the challenges that Ocean Protocol is facing. How does a single protocol dealing with mass amounts of unrefined and unsorted data connect this data to a network of AI that are eager to work without divulging certain types of information in very specific situations? It's a hard circle to square. It's a really difficult problem. But beyond that, and what I find even more impressive, is Ocean Protocol doesn't just focus on pairing existing big data and AI entities. They're also seeking to create free massive online databases of images and other media that not only heavily benefits the world at large and unshackles access to mediums of expression, but also aids AI by offering a massive pool of data through which new AI can hone their acuity at low cost. It's a positive feedback loop, which is awesome. You can see here, ImageNet is an open dataset with over 10 million tagged images, much larger than previous open image datasets. This has allowed AI to train image classifiers with radically less error than before for dozens of computer vision applications. Providing data commons on Ocean Protocol would benefit the whole world, providing accessible data to anyone. That's another admirable goal in my opinion. Next, we have the extensive team behind the project. I'll be frank with you, after reading over the white paper and seeing the intense level of detail ascribed to this project and the efforts involved, I'm really not too worried about this team's work ethic. They've proven themselves in my eyes. However, knowing what happened to Tezos, I'm always meticulous about heads of any project I review, regardless of how good the project looks on the surface. So let's do a quick flyby of the two top dogs who were actually featured in the video we saw on the landing page at the beginning of this review. It's worth a watch on your own time. Here is Trent McConaughey. Trent has worked in AI for a better part of a decade now, and some of his tweets are really interesting articles. I'm actually personally following him now and plan to read over some of these here shortly. This guy seems to be the more technical side of the project. Next we have Bruce Pon, which reminds me of the song Pon Pon Pon. And by the way, I mean that with zero disrespect to this gentleman. It is a fantastic song, don't judge. Bruce is a bit less active on Twitter and appears to be more of the professional liaison to the business world, in contrast to Trent's deep familiarity with the technical side of things. In my opinion, this is a great combo. We're all familiar with projects like Komodo, which have extremely powerful technical presence in the field, but really aren't that great at marketing per se. We're also familiar with projects like Tron, which are essentially only marketing and have no real unique product. Oh, and before anyone gets their undies in a bundle about that statement, check the links below to see how Tron plagiarized their white paper and also blatantly stole source code, removing the copyright on GitHub. So, boo Tron, yay Pon is the takeaway, I guess. Anyway, back to the website. You can see these two companies are coming up again, BigChainDB and Dex. So let's go ahead and check them out since they're obviously important, since they're at the top of the landing page as well. Here is BigChainDB. They offer a blockchain as a service sort of setup, allowing users to test out new apps and ideas using their blockchain database interface, which is pretty seamless. Actually, they even allow you to immediately interact with their software through the in-browser creation of digital assets. impressively seamless. Let's go ahead and try one. Hello, Paul. Off you go. Beep boop. And look, they even got Nyan If you can't trust Nyan I don't know if I can trust you. Anyway, let's head back to the main page. Below this part, you can see really impressive partnerships. Yeah, here we are. Partnerships with entities like Toyota, Daimler, and Porsche. These are pretty big companies, and this clearly suggests that BigChainDB takes tokenizing business assets seriously and appears to be well versed in the process already. Ocean Protocol having them as a main contributor to their project is a great sign in my opinion. Next up, we have DEX. DEX, as the name suggests, is a decentralized marketplace, and it is specifically designed for the Ocean Protocol. So these three entities seem to be working very closely with one another. DEX got started way back in 2012 and has just been quietly working on their product ever since. And you can see this gentleman, where you at, guy? There you are, Mr. Chardeep Chabra. He is a familiar face because he's actually listed over here. Wait, where'd you go? There you are, Mr. Chardeep. Here he is. So it looks like these three teams are working very closely as well. The blending of talent runs right through the heart of the company's core teams. Also, you can see Timothy Lay, who is listed over here as well, with two separate pictures. So just goes to show, different pictures for different setups, just shows that they're actively working and things are happening. Then again, come to think of it, I don't look too good in photos, so maybe I should just go with the one that gives me the best angle forever. Either way, I'm breaking my own rule here. Let's move on. Overall, these are two strong partners for an already really strong value proposition. The rest of the website just contains articles written by the team, as well as a section for frequently asked questions. Now, this FAQ section is extremely useful and straightforward for finding out exactly how Ocean Protocol, BigChainDB, and DEX are related and how they'll function alongside each other, along with some really great information about potential hurdles the project may face and how the team seeks to surmount these obstacles. This is refreshing, considering some projects seek to sell you some rose-colored glasses, which you then use to read their white paper. Not the case with this project. It's also worth exploring this early little gem here that talks about early partnerships, and just hidden here at the bottom, you can see the Singaporean government, the literal government of Singapore, wants this to work, and is a partner with Ocean Protocol. That's a huge gold star on Ocean Protocol's list of pros, having the Singapore government backing you up. And the remainder of the site is largely just FAQs about the token sale, and it concludes with general information. Now, I did mention we would go back to the white paper, up here, and the other documents listed. However, we've already did a pretty great job of examining the problems, the proposed solutions, entities involved, and the overall framework of the Ocean Protocol and how it wants to approach the issues as a company. These documents together are also about 150 pages worth of information. They've been very thorough, so if you'd care to get a more detailed look at any portion of the Ocean project, I'm confident you can find it somewhere within these three documents. I've read over them and it's a lot of information. And if for some reason your question isn't covered within the documents and it's not in the FAQ section, the team is available on Twitter, Slack, and Telegram for contact. You can find that at the bottom of the page. Of these three documents, however, I found the marketplace framework to be the most comprehensible to the general user, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. The paper first outlines the value proposition that we've already explored quite succinctly, and part 2 delves into specifics on how the Ocean Marketplace actually functions. This includes parameters that most data marketplaces include, that you can see here in section 2.1. It also includes things like the Ocean tokens, how they'll be used in the platform, key ecosystems, and what role each individual role on the platform will be expressing and what functionality they'll have. It of course has things like data governance and how they plan to use the data on the platform, token curated registries to allow for various semantic models, etc., the initial deployment strategy, which is ever important, and a whole lot more. I want to stop here though and mention that they do have some fantastic visual representations for how the product could be conceptualized in case you're more of a visual learner. I think that's extremely helpful. This holds true for the other two papers as well, handy graphs and charts that help succinctly display more complex concepts and features outlined within. It's been said that a true sign of genius is the ability to take extremely complex problems and concepts and boil them down to a digestible and understandable format for the general user. If that is indeed the case, then Ocean Protocol has at least some elements of genius given the amount of detail and work that's gone into creating these really succinct visual representations for highly complex concepts that deal in big data and AI. Well, that's pretty much all the time we have and all the information we have to explore. To wrap things up, Ocean Protocol, in my opinion, is extremely well positioned. I don't know, and neither does Ocean Protocol, according to their white paper, of any other company that seeks to use a seamless blockchain protocol to marry big data and AI, obfuscating specific elements of archetypes of data, thereby ensuring user privacy, data accessibility, and the breakdown of these digital walls that are data silos. If, as I mentioned before, Ocean Protocol can live up to even a half or 75% of their value proposition fully, we could be looking at a major company. If Ocean Protocol ends up living up to all of their value proposition and more, continually expanding on the work that they set out to do, we could be looking at something that's an Ethereum caliber project. After all, we have troves, 99% even, of all data that's been gathered just hasn't been worked out. So there's a value proposition there, it's just a matter of making it work. That's all the time we have for today. If you enjoy this kind of content, let me know down below in the comments. I love your feedback. Everything we saw today will be linked below in the description as well as a link to all the white papers and the information about Tron. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, follow us on Discord. We are most active there, and check us out on Twitter. My name is Paul. We'll talk to you guys next time.